implementation of the PricewaterhouseCoopers census audit report, and the implementation was to take effect from 1st January 2025. From the report.
And that's the point, Chair. The letter is written on 24th of January.
Yes.
The recommendations are supposed to be implemented as from 1st of January the same year. So how was that supposed to be done?
Okay, Governor, can you just, the audit query was that 32 million was committed, there was no product, it had taken too long. Now, perhaps that should not be the issue for now. The issue now is the value for money. What is the outcome of that exercise? The issues of contract duration, those we can deal with fairly quickly. So when did this report land on your desk?
Give me a minute. Let me just check the exact date.
Governor, can I assist you? Because according to this report, 11A, it's stamped, but the engagement, the first engagement was on 23rd August 2023. Chairman, if you look at the bundle.
That's the one signed by Simon Mutinda?
Yes, this one that was signed by Simon Mutinda. So the governor should tell us when did they start doing the audit and how long was it supposed. I know you have said you could deal with that, but you can see the assignment began on payroll audit assignment on 28 November 2022.
Actually, the final report was submitted by Simon Mutinda, Partner Director, PwC,
Correct.
On 23rd of August 2023.
Correct. That is what I wanted to assist the governor. Because governor.
But your written submissions as at March 2024 indicated that the report was not ready.
This was, Chairman, because when the report came, there was a lot of back and forth that had to happen between our HR teams and the PwC team, because there was a lot of uproar, so we had to go back and forth with them until they finally submitted the report at a date that I just need a document so that I give the correct date and I don't guess the date and then I go again round in circles, given that I'm under oath, Chairman. So they are just, I've asked the CS to check for me the exact date of the submission of the very final report.
I think beyond the specific date, perhaps you might want to tell us whether we are discussing something that is work in progress or we are discussing something that ought to have already been done as per the implementation matrix.
In terms of implementation, it is work in progress. It is not, we have not concluded implementation of this report.
And you are still within the implementation matrix proposed in the report?
For the reason, the implementation matrix that was proposed by PwC, you mean?
Yes.
No, this is now an implementation that we have now looked at realistically as a county government. And how do we implement this in a way that does not create too much animosity and tension? So this is the implementation that we are doing in a broken down manner. And some of the implementation things that we've done, for example, there were those that they came to PwC, they had appointment letters, they had never earned any salary. So those ones, for example, we have disengaged because they have had no earnings. There are those also whom we removed from the payroll who had fake documents, for example, straightforward like that, and we sent them on to DCI as well. So we have been in the course of implementation of the report. We just haven't concluded it, Chairman.
There's...
Because I ask a question there before you go.
Okay.
So Governor, do you own this report? Have you owned it? The recommendations by PwC?
Yes.
You have owned it. So it's not a question of whether you need to disengage with 652 people. It's a question of how and when.
Exactly. How and when. But we have the people who had, for example, fake documents, the people who had who did not show up for audit, the people, and had no reason for it. I actually immediately after receiving the report set up a committee chaired by my deputy governor to look at these issues now in a practical sense, because we have already, and looking at value for money, we had a situation where we didn't even know how many staff we had. PwC gave us how many staff we had, how many they thought we should disengage with, how many they thought we should, move forward with. So that is what we have been doing in the course of this period, Chairman.
So you also agree that you have 1,327 ghost workers. And Appendix 2 has got the list of the 1,327 ghost workers by name, ID number, payroll number. Appendix 2 that starts from page 59. Because if you agree with the report and you agree that there are 1,300 ghost workers, you need to exercise the ghosts.
First, Chair, so that you can answer both. I'm not able to go through all the recommendations by PwC, but then there are HR people or County Public Service Board who are complicit in engaging these ghost workers or employees who are not qualified or who have fake documents. What were the recommendations? Because they cannot just go scot-free. For one, public money was already used. So what was the recalls or what was the type of administrative action recommended by PwC?
I think the people who are engaged in these processes we disengaged with very early in the day. The CEO of the Public Service Board, the HR, the payroll, we disengaged very early in the day so that we could even start engaging with this process. I want the CS to speak to the issue of the so-called ghost workers.
Chair, as the CS comes on board, Vice Chair, I've looked at administrative action at 11D. Unfortunately, Chair, I don't know, Governor, you need to do something because they are not also now clear. It is like the previous document. Your document, it is not, you cannot read it. So what do we do? Do we accept and move on or forgive and forget?
Chairman, the administrative action that is filed in this document was that which was recommended for non-availing of documents. It is not the administrative action that we actually took from the word go for the people we separated with. So this was, if you saw the recommendations of the committee, right, they had asked administrative action to be taken against officers who did not avail documents. But now it appears more administrative action will be taken against officers who have produced before the Senate documents that cannot be read.
Thank you. Because appointment as acting director, HR resource management and development, but from page 2 local agreement all through, Chairman, it cannot be read. Who prepared this documentation before here?
Is a whole team
led by CCM.
No,
Finance.
the photocopying is a job that is done by lower level officers who are.
I know, but who
here.
is in charge? Who is the head of department that ensures this documentation is bound? Is it the CCM or is it the county secretary or CCM? CCM Finance?
That is the CCM Finance.
So let me ask you a direct question before you go and take administrative action against him. CCM, did you have view of this documentation before it was brought?
Through the chair, I had a view, Chair, and I think based on the volumes of documents that we have had to come with before Senate, I apologize to the Senate that there were mechanical errors with the machine that we were using, and it put us to this. We apologize.
So is it only one document? It was
Chair,
intentionally supplied to Chair Gay.
Through the chair, just a few of them, because the bulk of the documents are very clear.
Okay, let's come to the more substantive administrative action. CS was to speak to the ghost workers. I mean, this is a very interesting report, because if you go to Appendix 4, the first name on that schedule of list of 1,370 individuals without staff files in the county registry. Number 1 is Gladys Nyasuna, who I believe is a governor.
This is why I told you, this is why I called them the so-called.
Is that because you mentioned adversely that now this report cannot be implemented?
No, you could see that from there was a very mechanical process done by PwC that did not. This now gives you evidence. The reason why we had to review and look at an internal review of the documentation. When you went to look for the files, you may not have found a file for the governor because of the filing system at that time. But PwC took, even if you look at that document, CEC is a part of it. Even, many people are part of that report. That is why we said, surely from this report, we must do a series of reviews. And that is why by the time it was March, we had written to say we did not have a ready report from PwC, given the reviews that we needed to do on that report. Thank you.
And that is why I was asking you, Governor, through the chair, whether you actually owned this report. Because if you commission PwC and you pay them 32 million to help you make sense of your HR issues, and then the first thing they do is capture you as a ghost worker, surely.
I wanted to make this clear, Chairman. I wanted to make this very clear because it might look laughing, but when we leave the Senate, our people back in Homa Bay take these things very seriously. This is a list of 1,370 individuals without staff files, not ghost, without staff files in the county registry. So, Chairman, it is important to be very clear on these issues because the Senate raises these questions, calls them ghost workers, the media picks them as ghost workers, and then we have to respond to them. But now when we have to respond to them, nobody will understand that these were 1,300 that did not have staff files.
I think that's a fair one. Let's go to the 1,327 ghost workers.
But let me clear that, Chair. Let me clear that for the governor, so that we also not want to appear like we are setting up the governor with the people. Yeah. It is true that the Appendix 4 captures a list of 1,370 individuals who have not provided staff files. But the question remains, Governor, that I have paid PwC 32 million shillings to give me a report that will help me make sense of a messed up HR system in my office. And the kind of report that they give me is that the number one person who does not have a staff file in the county government of Homa Bay is a governor. And that's why I was very, very keen when I asked you whether you really owned this report, or you rejected it, or renegotiated even the amount that will be paid for that.
Okay, I think you've clarified it. CS, you are to talk to the 1,327 ghost workers.
Thank you, Chair. Very fast, because a lot of it has been said. I think the 1327 is actually not what is called ghost workers from our assessment, because there are several categories that we are capturing, like people without files, people with what, and you can find names are repeated in those. You can find somebody who doesn't have a file, you didn't report, but in all those categories, their names were picked. So you can find a name picked in outlook, or at least sometimes 3 categories, 2 categories, or in 4 categories. But then when they're putting it together, then they put it, because they are just adding up, they're adding what is there and what is there, and then it came up with that number. But when we now went down to do our own verification, we realized that these names were repeated. And that's why we didn't say that those are ghost workers. Actually, those are not ghost workers.
Chair, can you stop the county secretary, because he's now working into a landmine? Because the more he talks, the more everything gets messed up. Therefore, 32 million, Governor, that was contracted to PwC, there was no value. Because even your county public service board sat and wrote you a letter on what should be done. In this report, the one that you are provided, either you are saying the PricewaterhouseCoopers report was a draft. Because if you are hiring to make a sense of the 55% that you are spending on what you are putting now, 7,000 plus workers, then it is getting more messed up than in the beginning. Because the chairman of County Public Service Board has provided, once the implementation status of PwC, The governor has gone on record and said, when we got this report, we had to contest to amend, to do a few years there, massages a few years to be politically correct. So my question should be, Governor, in this 32 million, in my own opinion, the people of Homa Bay did not get value. You did not come out to tell us whether the public service of Homa Bay of 7,000 plus who work in your county government, whether there was value that was given. And that is why, Chair, I want to go back to my first question. The justification of the governor of using PricewaterhouseCoopers over Public Service Commission. Yet there is what we call intergovernmental relationships that they can partner, because even if they disagree, the spending of the money would not have been, at least would have been another. But on this 32 million, Chair, I think, to me, looking at the chairperson of County Public Service Board and the minutes that the County Public Service Board sat, Governor, we are getting more and more confused, and we do not see the value of 32 million in this PricewaterhouseCoopers engagement that you did, even including the one I had pointed out on the administrative action on other matters.
Okay, let me, for purposes of time, there is a report by PwC, which we are interacting with for the first time, because as at March, it was not ready. And that is why we gave generic recommendations of administrative action. Now the Senate is seized of the report. We have it. There is also a report by the Auditor General on a payroll audit for Homa Bay County, which I think has been tabled. It has been tabled in Parliament.
Yes, Chair, it was tabled.
We need to look at these two reports, the payroll audit report, the PwC audit report, the report that we are considering now, and as someone who comes from Homa Bay, spending 52% on compensation of employees it's a serious problem, and it is a legacy problem. I think Governor is dealing with an inherited problem that has festered over the years. Whether 32 million was value for money, in my view, I think it tells us something about the rotten state of human resources in that county. It might not be accurate, but it can stimulate some debate that can help us to find a solution. You see, when you're at 55, Clerk, can you give us the comparative analysis of neighboring counties? I think a county like Siaya, Migori, Kisumu, Kericho, Busia, counties with fairly similar demographics.
Yes, Chair. Migori is at 32%.
32?
Siaya, 35. Kisumu, 44. Busia, 35. Kericho, 47.
32 you said was Migori?
32 is Migori.
Siaya?
35.
35.
Kisumu, 44.
Busia?
Busia, 35.
Kericho at
47.
47. And Homa Bay at 55. They are very tough decisions you have to make, Governor. Otherwise, Homa Bay is going to be an employment bureau. I know we have talked of the legacy of municipalities, but these other counties that we have cited may also tell a similar story. They have the fiscal space to carry out development. They have got the fiscal space to pay pending bills because they've been able to tame their employee costs. Honorable members, this matter is so significant that I don't feel like we'll do justice to it discussing it at 4 p.m. And I want to propose, as I'd indicated earlier, that this could be an issue of inquiry where we can invite the governor when she's better prepared with an implementation plan and when she's better prepared with responses to the Auditor General's payroll report. Can we take that as our resolution? Because the more you go into this report, the more you stumble onto things. I mean, I've looked at the list of ghost workers. I see Professor Richard Otieno Muga listed as a ghost worker there in that report. So the more you get into the details, the more you know it gets messy. So let's organize a forum to discuss 55% of Homa Bay's expenditure.
Yeah,
Chair,
Vice Chair.
Yeah, also what needs to be done in Homa Bay, if it was not done as part of TR for PwC, there is need to do staff rationalization so that we can be able to establish if all the employees who are there are supposed to be or are required to work in the areas that they are working. Because sometimes we could just have staff who are not doing anything.
Yes, members, is there any variation to that recommendation? Because if you agree with me, then we can proceed to the next.
An important addition, Chair. Because there's PwC, which is a recipient of public funds, and they were contracted to do a job. According to them, they did a job. According to the consumer of the job that they were given to do, Professor Okoth says that the document that they got was all mixed up, of all these things. This PwC should also maybe shed some light to this committee on what exactly is it that they did in Homa Bay County. That would be my submission.
And Chair, in addition to this, we should also include the entire board of County Public Service Board. I hope your County Public Service Board is functional, because they have minuted the response to the implementation of PwC report. I yield.
Okay. Now, again, there's an issue of there are two projects in Homa Bay which have received a lot of space in this report. Under construction of buildings, you have the Kigoto milling plant. It has issues that are very difficult to verify while sitting in Nairobi. I want to recommend that in October, when we do our